Okay, we're back. We had a little break. I didn't get a chance to finish the lesson yesterday, so we'll just pick it up where we left off um, today, this morning. It's just another day, brisk and bright. So we're looking at the A shape box, right? Can call them boxes. You'll hear me when I call them boxes, I'm fed up. I'm fed up with calling them cages. The reason why I remember why they're called cages is because CAGED spells caged, so that's why they're called cages. CAGED. Alright, the descending pentatonic scale in the key of C. So again, here is the A box, and the reason why we're looking at the A box is because you don't want to take for granted what's going to happen when you go to the different pentatonic inversion boxes, is what you can call them. So the C box would be 3, 4, 5, 3, 5, 6 root. This is the C box over here too. Remember, it's another day, so might be taking a fresh approach. So we get the C box here with starting on the third. That's going to be the low E, so it's going to be 3, 5, 6 root, 3, 5, 6 root, and then 2, 3, 5, 6. I just want to keep the cursor on what's going on. Warp up for this from this 6 to this root is a minor third, but usually a minor third interval would be like 6 to root. You see is over here a long interval, but it's short now, 6 to root, because the tuning warp bring the top 2 strings over 1 fret. So it's 6 root 2 and then 3 5 again. Okay, so that's the C one. Okay, now we're going to do the A inversion, just same as C, but it's going to start on the 5. So it's, and then up here you got the G box, okay, which starts on the 6. Alright, and so on and so on. The E box starts on the 7. Not on the 7. The E box is kind of like an exception. It starts on the root in the pentatonic. The diatonic starts on 7. Remember, the difference between a diatonic scale and a pentatonic scale is that the diatonic scale has a 7th and a 4th quality to it. The pentatonic scale does not. It's just root 2, 3, skip 4, 5, 6, skip 7, octave. So for the E pentatonic scale, we're starting on the C. So that's your classical pentatonic scale where people would start on C. C, D, E, G, A. Okay? So a little background there. But let's go back and look at the A box. We were talking about what we were doing in the A box here. I guess we'll so now with my videos and my approaches, and I've only seen videos that people have done about pentatonic scales, and of course I've seen pentatonic scales, diagrams of them with the staff music and the little circles. That's of course how I got started in all this. I didn't just think this up myself, but a lot of it I did once I got onto it. Okay, so here's an old diagram that I pulled up. This is these are essentially pentatonic boxes. Okay, so somehow I figured out that, I mean, I knew piano and everything. I can tell you this is a diatonic scale, you know, and all that stuff. And all the other scales, you know, diminished scales. It's like a 60 chord system. I learned that in my 20s with a library book. However, so these are the pentatonic scales. Here it is, 3/5/6 root is that part of a pentatonic scale, that S2L. Okay, that solid part of a pentatonic scale that every pentatonic scale has a 3/5/6 root interval. Now sometimes it ends up split on the bottom part in the C box, 3/5/6 root, and sometimes it ends up, we can look at the unwarped fretboard because it's only different from the top part, remember? See how the tuning warp is here, and the top two strings go over one fret there. That's normal tuning. The regular P4 tuning, you know, we can look at the bottom four strings of this, exactly the same as this diagram. So some of them have, well, we'll find one of them hopefully. We have a 3/5/6 root there. Okay, we have the 3/5/6 root occurs on string 2 and 3 from the bottom there. It kind of marches down the fretboard there, and here's a 3/5/6 root. It's just in the way of the yellow line we were looking at. It's kind of in the way. So it's 3/5/6 root there. So you see how it's split there, but it's still the same pattern. S2L, S2L there, S2L there. You know, they kind of march across the fretboard on down. Okay, so that's how I, you know, realized the patterns were repeating, and that's what, you know, that's how I got interested in P4 tuning. So the interesting thing about P4 tuning is, with P4 tuning, there's a perfect circle of fourths and perfect circle of fifths. Okay, so that if we look at the tuning fret in the key of C, it would be right here. So we were looking at the A box, but we can change that now. So we're looking at this now. Pretend like this is your tuning fret, and this is your fret nut, and this is your guitar. Okay, so I know it's a little hard to see the guitar, so we'll try to get that like in a brown color. Okay, we gotta okay that color. All right, so it's kind of a greenish thing. So there's your fret nut right there. All right, so this is the tuning fret, the open fret. But if we actually had a guitar that was tuned in P4 tuning, I don't want to do this, people. I don't want to do this because it for the lesson it won't want to tune back up. But it sounds like this. Just imagine, instead of me putting my finger there, if these top two strings were tuned so that it was all straight across like that, I'd have to detune these top two strings by one semitone each. And this is what we'd come up with. And as you know, 3 to 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a perfect fourth. 6 to 2, 6, 7, root 2 is a perfect fourth. Key of C here. 5, 2 to 5 in a key of C is D, the D string now. Okay, we're talking about perfect fourth tuned fretboard here, unwarped. It's called unwarped. Okay, because here's the tuning warp where your, I guess you'd call it your 5 string, which is right here, goes to the 7. So in the key of C, G is the 5th, the G string's the 5th, the B string's the 7th. So you can see it's not a perfect fourth anymore, it's a perfect third from the G to the B string right there, with the E string being the 3rd of C, the A string being the 6th of C, the D string being the 2nd of C, and the G string being the 5th, etc. But in perfect fourth tuning, where we don't move the top 2 strings over, we have this situation, which sounds like this. So the top is R is C in the key of C, and F is 4. And the thing about perfect fourth tuning is we have a perfect circle of fourths and a perfect circle of fifths. So we go up in fourths, 3 to 6, 6 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to root, root to fourth. Now watch, going down in fifths now. The 5th of the 4th is the root. Okay? The 5th of the root is the 5th. The 5th of the 5th is the 2nd. The 5th of the 2nd is the 6th. The 5th of the 6th is the 3rd. Back to E there. So it's, E, A, D, G, root, F. And so when we look at our circle of fourths or fifths, our string-shaped circles, we wouldn't have the augmented. So we look over here for a second. Okay, same, my diagrams are all lined up here. So this is same fret here. Now it's warped over. And what we have here is going from the 5th, going from the G string to the B is a diminished fourth. And then going from the B string back to the G is an augmented 5th, because the 5th of B is F sharp, but we go to the G because of the tuning warp. So that's it. That pretty much, I rest my case about why we have the diminished fourth and the augmented fifth when going with the circle, the cage circle of fourths and fifths. And everywhere we're going to see that. So, and it took me a little while. I thought I was going to have to do a graduate study in this, some kind of a master